Please welcome to the stage Chief Executive Officer, Mike Martin.
Thank you. My team tells me that I'm supposed to be the head camp counselor for Camp Strava. I'm not sure about that one. But what I am sure about is that I'm Strava's new CEO, Mike Martin. And I'm thrilled to be here with all of you. This room is a cross-section of the Strava community and partners. You are in real life embodiment of what makes Strava so strong together. I guarantee you are sitting next to somebody awesome. If you don't already, I would recommend that you follow them on Strava. I'll give you a moment if you want to sort that out. Or you can do it later. It's your call. I'm curious to hear how quickly you can find the QR code. You can let me know afterwards. And it's important to note, this is why we call it Camp Strava. It's actually not about Strava. It's about what all of us can do together. Camp Strava is about bringing together the people impacting how the world moves everywhere, in every way. And today, you're going to hear these community builders, you're going to hear these change makers, you're going to hear these athletes and explorers, and they will tell you how we can make progress together to help everyone live their best active life. But before we do that, let's zoom out before we zoom in. There are now recorded on Strava well over 10 billion activities. I don't know, just by saying that, literally I get goosebumps. It's hard for me to get my head around that number. I mean, I came to Strava in part because of its global scale, but 10 billion human activities. I also came to Strava because of its mission and values. I wanted to work on a team and part of a company that was unarguably doing good for humanity. But frankly, I also came to Strava because I was compelled by the challenge. Getting people to put their smartphone down and strive and strain and sweat and try to make themselves a better version is, I believe, one of the hardest jobs in tech. And I've worked in almost every element of tech. And yet Strava has been successful at this challenge more than 10 billion times. But let's talk about these activities. Each activity consists of a bunch of data. It has usually a map, maybe a time, a distance, elevation, pace, sports-specific data like strokes or power. But an activity is so much more than the data. It's who you did it with. It's the visuals. It's the copy that you wrote. It's how you felt at that moment of time. And many of these activities are epic and extraordinary. There are world records recorded on Strava. There are first ascents recorded on Strava. There are FKTs recorded on Strava. None of them are mine, but this is there. You get to walk in the footsteps of giants, many of them in this room with you today. Some of these activities are artistic, some of them are inspirational, some of them are just my dog, Laika. So this is Laika. You may notice she has a Phi smart collar. So every time Laika, she's a 10-year-old rescue mutt, some sort of Australian Shepherd mix. So every time Laika and I go for a run, and she's one of my most common running partners, or we go for a hike, and this was Lake Tahoe, where we were going on a winter hike this season, her activity gets uploaded. And I gotta tell you, she's 10 years old, but she's passing me on leaderboards. She undoubtedly gets more kudos than I do. I'm pretty competitive by nature, so you can imagine how I feel about that, but let's move on. These activities are literally happening everywhere, across 190 countries in the world. And they happen every single moment. Just this marathon season, we passed for the first time the peak of 50 million activities uploaded in a single week. And then these activities take so many different forms. There are 50 activity types right now on Strava. And I am a data nerd, and I love digging into this information and learning more about the amazing Strava community. For the second year running, gravel cycling is our fastest growing activity. Yeah, Yeah, I'm excited about that too. I bought my first gravel bike this year, and I am a giant fan. I'm like a 6-year-old boy with his bike. But I'm Gen X, and I have to acknowledge the fact that it's actually Gen Z that's ascendant on the platform. They represent almost a third of the Strava community, and they are growing even faster. This year alone, Gen Z women are growing twice the rate that they were growing on Strava last year. So it's accelerating. Well, if that excites you, here's some other things that I think are pretty fascinating about them. So Gen Z is running actively on Strava. 70% of them have uploaded a run. That is 20 points, 20 percentage points higher than the previous generation. Sorry, millennials. They're also uniquely achievement and goal focused. 73% of them are actively training for an event at this moment. But frankly, most of these activities are just about putting one foot or one pedal in front of the other. Sometimes with others, sometimes alone. But the only thing that is constant is it is the community that motivates us. And the Strava community is like no other. It is uniformly positive. It is encouraging. It is supportive. It is active. It is Strava's responsibility as a company to record all of these activities. It is also Strava's responsibility as a company to enable this amazing global community. I take that responsibility as CEO very, very seriously. Our mission here is to motivate you to live your best active life. Our vision is to connect the entire world through movement. And Strava has made progress as a product, as a website and a series of apps. But candidly, we still have distance to go to realize that vision of a world connected through movement. If you envision the whole active community along with the connected fitness industry as sort of like one giant cycling peloton, then, bear with me for a second, then Strava should be leading the way. We should be your lead-out rider, blocking the wind, creating a slipstream, helping the whole peloton move faster and more efficiently. But that hasn't always been the case. Strava as a product has gaps. And those gaps have kept the community and the partners from always achieving their goals. And I'm here today to tell you that we see those gaps. We hear your feedback. In fact, we use the product. We feel your friction as well. Strava is committed to resolving these gaps and resolving them quickly. In fact, Strava is picking up the pace radically. That acceleration has already begun. You may have started to see signs of it, but you're going to hear about it today. And as a longtime Strava user, I hope that excites you as much as it excites me. Now, there are two big shifts that we're going to make that have enabled us to speed up as a product to serve our community. These changes will allow us to serve many, many more people, but it will also allow us to be much more effective at motivating them. So let me talk you through them. Shift number one, we are going to build for her. Sports overall were designed by and for men. The equipment, the training plans, the rules, even how sports is marketed is largely male-centric. But Strava has a unique opportunity that by closing these gaps for her on our platform and in our communities, we can make sport more inclusive overall, because her gaps in many cases are all gaps. And you're going to hear real commitment and innovation from us on this front. Not just right now, but going forward. Because by closing these gaps on Strava, we accelerate towards that vision of connecting the entire world. Shift number two. This is probably not going to be surprising from the guy recently from Google. But we are going to use AI to unlock accelerated progress for our community, both in how they explore, how they move, and how they connect. Now, I've worked in machine learning and AI for almost a decade. And candidly, I've never been particularly interested or impressed by the novelty behind it. But I have been amazed by the power of artificial intelligence to solve real human problems that were previously impossible. At the same time, artificial intelligence by itself isn't worth much without the right data. And that is where the community comes in. The combination of artificial intelligence with the data of the world's largest active community will unlock an entirely new generation of motivation. Now, it's still early days, and we're just taking some first steps in this space to inspire people to move, to make better and faster progress towards their goals, and to find new places to explore. But I'm really excited for you to hear about some of them. So these two shifts taken together have massive potential to accelerate Strava. Anita, our Chief Design Officer, and Matt, our Chief Product Officer, are about to show you absolute tangible proof of that acceleration. It's actually already started. Some of it is already delivered, some of it's right around the corner, and then there's more coming. But before we do that, I'd like to ask Zipporah Allen, our Chief Business Officer, to join me on the stage, or to come on the stage. And Zip is pretty awesome. And one of the ways she's awesome is she's going to take you on a run, a virtual run. But before we do that, just one last bit. Before I step off the stage, I just wanted to thank all of you again, both on the live stream as well as here in the audience, for joining us here at Camp Strava. I speak for everyone when I say that we are grateful for having you here with us to make progress together.
So you know what's hard? Running is hard. For those of you that were here last year, you heard me say those exact words on this stage, and then in the same breath, I followed it up and I told you that I would run my first ever marathon in New York City last year. Now, that was a really vulnerable moment for me because honestly, I did not know if I could do it. I had only run a half marathon up until that point. But saying it out loud to this room of people meant that I absolutely had to do it. And, well, I did it! It was magical, it was so incredible, and it was so hard. It turns out running marathons are also very hard. And training for your first marathon in your 40s, post 2 kids, is absolutely no joke. For me, it wasn't just the running, it was the Pilates twice a week to make sure that I didn't hurt myself. It was the walks to recover. It was the rides to cross-train. And yes, it was hours and hours of running. Very early running in the dark, most of it with my training buddy Anne, to get all of my workouts in before the day started. Lather, rinse, and repeat. And of course, like we like to say in this room, if it's not on Strava, it didn't happen, so I logged all of it. And that journey to the starting line in New York really reinforced so much of the magic that exists on our platform and in our community. So I would love to give a few thank yous here to those of you that played an outsized role in my training. First, Lewis and Flores, you both live in my community and you probably don't even know it. You know I follow you. But I was so inspired by so many of your routes. And when you're training for a marathon for the first time, you're going on much longer runs than you're used to. So thank you so much for logging your activities, uploading your maps, and making my miles that much more interesting. Lonnie and Allison, thank you so much for the kudos along my journey. You have no idea how much that encouragement meant to me, especially when I was staring down the face of a long run on a Saturday morning. And Allison, I just have to say, seeing you at the start line in New York was one of the highlights of my year and gave me so much confidence to be able to get out there and tackle that course. Brooks Run Club, your expert advice, your content, your community helped a first-time marathoner like me know a little bit more about what to do in my training. And Sad Girl Track Club, your raccoon memes and the silliness of your community helped remind me not to take my training that seriously. So while I loved my journey to New York, I also experienced a lot of the pain points of the millions of women that are moving outside. You heard Mike talk about this earlier. We have some real gaps when it comes to our platform, and we're accelerating our progress to close those gaps. Now, I want to be clear, it's not just about me and my experience. I am one of the tens of millions of women on our platform that have real barriers to moving outside. And it's not just about the women. Even though women are awesome, we know that when we are inspired to solve the problems of women, it makes it easier for all of us to live our best active lives. And so as we accelerate our progress, we have heard so much from you in our community about what we can do to continue to make progress in how you move and how you connect. And so I'd love to introduce you to a few of the product features that we're launching this year to solve some of these gaps. Now, I mentioned I did a lot of my training in the dark at 5 a.m., 4 a.m., somewhere around there. I even took this really glamorous selfie to document it. This is my last long run before the marathon. You can see it really isn't that glamorous. Running in the dark can be scary, especially when you're unfamiliar with your surroundings. Now, I travel a lot for my job, and that means that I'm in a hotel room at 5 a.m. trying to figure out where I'm gonna go, and it's stressful. Am I headed to the safe or the sketchy part of town? Am I actually gonna see any other runners out there? I'm sure we've all been in a scenario that's very similar. Meet Night Heat Map. With Night Heat Map, you can easily toggle between daytime and nighttime to understand where the community goes when they need to train in the dark. Night Heat Map only looks at the activities that are logged between sundown and sunrise, and in the future, we're gonna leverage this data to power even more relevant route recommendations for all of you. Now, I love that my community can keep track of my progress and give me those all-important kudos over time. But I don't need everybody knowing what time I leave my house or where I go. Meet Quick Edit. Quick Edit makes it easier for you to share which information you share with your community. Just hit finish on that activity, open up the Strava app, and this screen is gonna pop up, allowing you to make the most common edits that we see on our platform. So you can choose who sees that activity. You can even choose to hide certain information, like your map, or your start time, or any health-related data. But what I like the most is we're making it easier for you to tell your story on this screen. You can just in a few taps upload a video or a picture and even change that all-important activity title, which gives you no excuse to leave that activity and workout titled as morning run or morning ride. I am guilty of it. I know that we can all do better than that. Because sharing your story with a community, that is what is so cool about our platform. And that's why 37% of our athletes belong to one of our 860,000 clubs on Strava. Come on, that's awesome. And so we're here in LA for Camp Strava to talk you through how we're investing into this club's experience. I would love to use a local example. So Good Vibes Track Club, I know they're in the house here. Good Vibes was started by Marv Garcia and Chris Espinoza, who I found out is nicknamed Koza yesterday, 7 years and 14 seasons ago. And they have a community of over 120 people here locally in LA, and thousands more on the platform virtually. They train for multiple events across the year, sending athletes to all 6 world marathon majors. That's pretty impressive. And I just love their mission. It is to grow the sport of distance running in underrepresented communities, and I can assure you that those vibes are indeed high after one of the weekly workouts that they put together. So with Good Vibes as our example, meet our upgraded clubs experience. First, we're making it easier to create a club by bringing that experience into our app. No longer do you have to log onto the Strava website just to create your club. You can just do that in a few quick taps right in the app. Don't have to go anywhere else. Second thing that we're bringing into the club is messaging. And I am so excited about this because this is going to allow our club members to share routes, make plans, and have conversations on a one-to-one or small group basis right in the club home. Now, importantly, with messages and clubs, you can have conversations and threads about specific topics, meaning that for a club like Good Vibes, they can have conversations and channels targeted at one of their weekly workouts, like Track Tuesday, Tempo Thursday, or Long Run Saturday. But for another club, this might mean channels that talk about conversations on gear recommendations or plans for an upcoming event. Lastly, we're bringing challenges into clubs. We know that challenges keep people motivated, and we're giving you more fun ways to compete with each other right within the club experience. Because having fun with a community that motivates you is what it is all about. We don't need a lot of people to keep us motivated, we just need the right people to keep us motivated. And so we're focused on unlocking an easier way for our subscribers to stay motivated together. Now, before I introduce you to this last feature that I'm going to talk about, I want to acknowledge that this is one of our most requested features in our community hub. And what I love so much about the Strava community is you all are not shy about telling us what you want, sometimes extremely vocally, which we appreciate. And so as we accelerate that pace of progress, meet our new family plan. Over 50% of our athletes say that they are motivated to work out by friends and family, with 77% of them feeling more connected when they actually see those activities uploaded onto Strava. With Family Plan, we're making it easier for you to make that fitness commitment together. When you and up to 3 other people join an annual subscription. And the best part about this is it can be your actual family that you live with, it can be your group of friends, or it can even be your workout buddies that you head out on the weekends with. And it's a fantastic value when you or at least one other person join together. Okay, so I've just talked you through just a peek at what we are launching this year into the Strava experience. Matt and Anita are going to come up in a second and talk to you about so much more of what we're building. But before they come up, I want to talk and take a step back about an issue that permeates our entire industry, and that is gender equity in sport. In the 50 years since Title IX, so many more women have access to participation. There is much more fandom when it comes to women's athletics. But yet, there is disparity that exists at every stage and at every age in our industry. So let's take a look at some of these numbers. 1/3 of women under 45 don't actually participate in sport at all because of a lack of confidence in themselves and in their appearance. When it comes to women over 45, 1/3 of them don't even meet the weekly recommendation for physical activity, even though 84% of them really want to. And it is just as bad for our teenagers. 22% fewer girls play sports when you compare it to boys, and it is no wonder when only 15% of our media coverage is dedicated to women's athletics. And what's really sad about is that's actually up from a staggeringly low 4% just a few years ago. So we're continuing our commitment to supporting women, to pushing for progress in this area, driving more access, more participation, and more fandom than ever before, because we know when we do that, we will have healthier and more connected communities. Now, Strava has been on this journey for a while now. In 2022, we launched our Strive for More initiative. And if you're unfamiliar with that, that's a $1 million commitment that we made over 3 years, dedicated to getting more women to the starting line of sport. It's awesome. Since we launched that commitment, we have learned so much. What works, what doesn't work, and the importance of continuing to push forward together. And now, in our 3rd year, we are thrilled to announce a new partner for us, and that is actually a company called Together. Now, Together is a media company that is 100% dedicated to promoting women in sport, driving participation, access, equity, fandom, coverage, you name it. And it was started by some incredible athletes that you all know and love. Chloe Kim, Simone Manuel, Sue Bird, Alex Morgan. And together, in partnership with them, we are going to push for more equity and more access. An important part of this partnership is today we are announcing a $100,000 donation to the Alex Morgan Foundation. It's an organization that supports equity and access both on and off the field for women and girls, and I am so thrilled about what this is going to unlock for our communities. So I've just talked you through how we are continuing to make progress in how we connect and how we support both on our platform and in our communities. And now it is my great pleasure to introduce you to Anita Butler, our Chief Design Officer, and the newest member of our executive team, Matt Salazar, our Chief Product Officer.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to camp. Woo. My name is Anita Butler, and I am the Chief Design Officer here at Strava. I've been at Strava for about 1.5 years now, and it's been a wild ride. Apparently, I love wild rides because I absolutely love working here. This year is extra special for me because I get to share the stage with Matt Salazar, our new Chief Product Officer. Welcome to camp, Matt.
Oh, thanks, Anita. Hi, everybody. It's great to be here. Long-time member, first-time camper. Anita, thank you so much for sharing the stage with me and showing me the ropes.
Sure.
It's great. I love this Garland vibe. Like, we're in Hollywood right now. I feel like you and I could be like Hollywood's next dynamic duo.
Okay, like, let me think about this. Maybe like Harold and Kumar?
I'm thinking more like Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling.
That's a little more relevant, or culturally relevant. My personal faves are Bay and Jay. I don't know if there's any fans out there. One of my guilty pleasures has been following their epic journey for like the last 20 years. Speaking of epic journeys, can we give it up for Zip?
Yeah.
And her
Zip.
amazing
Woo.
marathon story.
Woo.
So Zip, much like many of the badass female athletes in this room and on our platform, their stories have started to unwrap the numerous ways that we can make Strava better. And Matt and I are here today to share even more. Today, we want to take you inside the walls of Strava to give you a look behind the curtain into what the product teams are doing right now. We want to share the Strava experience with all of you through the eyes of people like you and me. As Mike mentioned, we know there's some real pain points in the current Strava experience. And so we're here today to tell you that we've heard you and we're doing something about it.
Anita is so right that it's important for us to put the customer at the center. It's been 30 days to the date since I joined Strava, and it's been one of the most exciting onboarding experiences I've ever had. It's like jumping on a rocket ship as it's taking off. The team's been working harder and faster, and we're so excited to share just a fraction of what the team has been working on. So let's get started with how you explore. What I love about Strava is it motivates us to explore the outside world. We all live busy lives with commitments towards family, friends, relationships, careers. It's important for us to take a beat and, as Gen Z would say, go touch grass. As a new dad myself, I need a map that makes it easy for me to get up and explore. Now, there are many other map products out there, but the challenge with them is they're all centered around the automobile. And that's what makes Strava so different and so special. It's centered around humans. It's built for people, by people, with 125 million locals.
Just last month, we launched one of the biggest changes in our map experience in Strava's history, which is our new Maps landing experience. The biggest change is now you can drop a pin on the map and we will generate a route from that exact location. And I think this is pretty awesome because no one else in the market is doing this, nor can they do this. The reason Strava can do this is because of the millions of activities that the community and all of you have been uploading over the years. So now we can generate a high-quality route just from dropping a pin. And we know that this is closing a customer gap that we've heard, because people have told us that they can't find a route near them, especially in areas where Strava may not be as popular. Since we launched this new experience, we have seen our map usage double. And so to me, this is a clear signal that we're on the right track.
So you can see routes are part of Strava's secret sauce. But we don't want routes just to live on Strava. We want them to live everywhere. Well, that's why we shipped route embeds, so we could bring the magic of Strava routes and Strava maps to all of our partners' websites. Since launch, over 3,000 event organizers and partners, small and large, have used this feature. From local events to the London Marathon to the Tour de France, it's so great to see others using the magic of Strava to inspire others to go outside.
So Matt and I just shared a couple of features that are already out in market. So you can experience all of this in the apps today. Now we want to pivot to showing you work that the teams are working on right now, things that are not out yet in the market. And why we're sharing them with you is that we would love to hear your feedback. So later on, come find us and let us know what you think.
Well, let's start. So Zip previewed Night Heat Maps, one of my favorite new features, that helps address the problem of finding a great and safe way to run at night. We're taking that another step, and to make sure our maps are more and more dynamic, we're going to be introducing weekly heat maps that gives you up-to-date information about the activities and routes people are going on. And because it's powered by real-world activity, you'll always know if that trail you wanted to go on is actually open or closed, no matter the time of season, and how busy that favorite segment of yours really is.
Speaking of segments, everyone has their own favorite segment, whether it's Hawk Hill or the local one by your house. But let's face it, some segments are simply iconic. I'm from Boston, and Heartbreak Hill is a thing. Those are the type of segments athletes travel to where earning a QOM or a local legend can give you mini celebrity status. But it's not always easy to know what are the segments. So that's why we're launching verified segments. The same orange official verified bag that applies to professional athletes or official brand clubs will now apply to our verified segments. So you'll always know what the segment is.
So all of these map innovations really culminate in getting a route that is really tailored for you. Anita mentioned our latest map redesign makes it easy just to drop a pin, find a route, and go. But now we're going to be adding artificial intelligence to make sure those routes are more smarter and more tailored for you. Our AI is not going to simply search through existing routes. It's actually going to generate a route that's tailored for you. It's going to take into account your location, the activity you want to do, the distance you want to go, as well as other information like the time of day, the conditions of the world around you, and what's popular for an athlete like you.
So we shared you a couple of features of what we're doing to help you explore the world around you. Now we want to talk about another part of Strava that is huge, which is how you move, the activity. Internally, we call the activity the atomic unit of Strava. And why do we call it that? We call it the atomic unit because if you don't upload activities to Strava, you just won't get the best out of Strava. And there's so much greatness to be had. I used to work in big social, and Matt used to work in gaming. And both of our jobs were really focused on getting customers to engage more and more. More eyeballs, more time online, meant more money.
Both Anita and I came to Strava to do the exact opposite. Remember, to use Strava, you actually have to get up and move, and that's a mission both Anita and I really connect with.
So this year, we're going to put a lot of love into that atomic unit, into your activities. Our goal is to make your activities a first-class citizen in our app, And the challenge is, how can we tell you a better story about the activity that you just uploaded? So we want you to meet your new activity details page. Right now, the current experience is that you have a map and metrics, and then you have to click a button to see the charts and the data. What we've heard from customers is that the charts are hard to find, and that they're even harder to understand. So what we've done is we've combined both of those things into one view. So you see the map at the top, and your charts and all the same metrics at the bottom. If you look at the bottom, we have speed, heart rate, power, and cadence. And if you interact with the chart at the bottom, it will reflect with the map at the top. If you scrub it, we will show you that particular point on the map as well as on the chart. We'll even show you where you may have made local legend or gotten a new PR or even snapped a photo. And we're also bringing all new map capabilities to this page as well.
Yeah, great. I think it's awesome too. Last time we showed activity details last year, we also introduced flyover. Who here remembers flyover? Yeah. Okay, as a refresher, flyover is this bird's eye view with full 3D stunning maps of your activity. You all said you loved flyover and couldn't get enough of it. But what you also mentioned is you wanted to be able to share it on your favorite socials. Well, you asked for it, and we're going to deliver it. We're going to make sure that the next time you go on an epic venture, you can share it with your friends.
So I have a question for all of you. Who is your biggest competitor? Oh, you guys knew it.
Figured it out.
My answer. It's you. Yes. What we've heard from customers is that the person they compete with the most is their past self. So now we've updated our progress chart so you can compare yourself to a past time and see how you've progressed. I'm a sucker for a good graph, and I know you are too, Matt, and I'm super excited about this.
This one's going to be so helpful, Anita. So right before I started Strava, I went on a cycling trip, and I broke my collarbone. So if you look at just my activity trend, it goes into a ditch. Having 2 periods to compare against, like specifically, makes sure I can get on a path to recovery.
Yeah, and what's even better, Matt, is that we 4x the data on this chart so you can compare yourself back over longer periods of time.
Oh, that's awesome. Speaking of progress, one important thing is memorializing your best efforts. We received a lot of kudos from all of you when we released best efforts for running last year. Well, we followed that up this year with best efforts for ride. So for all you cyclists out there, now you can capture all your top 3 performances across a whole host of cycling activities. You can even compare these performances year over year. So the next time you have a friend that's mouthing off and saying like, did you really get that PR of yours? You have the receipts.
Well, even when you have those brag-worthy PRs or best efforts, there are some days where it's really hard to get out there and stay motivated. I know I feel it, and I know even the most committed do as well. Challenges can help. And if you're competitive like me, challenges can be super fun, and they can also inspire you to do more for the greater good. So this year we are launching 3 new challenge types. The first one we launched in April, which is our April Steps Challenge. We did this one in support of our 3rd most popular activity, which may surprise you, but it's walking. The second one we launched in support of Earth Day, which was our Carbon Save Challenge. Over 227,000 members of the Strava community participated, and together we saved over 500,000 pounds in carbon emissions through commutes. And yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's pretty incredible. I feel super proud to work at a company that does work to help keep the world green. And coming soon is the 3rd challenge, which is our Best Efforts Challenge. Like you all know, your biggest competitor is yourself. So now you can set a challenge to beat your own best effort. And we wish you all the best of luck.
So we all see that the community at Strava loves challenges and competition. But we value in that competition, it's also going to be fair and accurate. So as mentioned, I spent some of my time in gaming, and I spent some of my time in that career using advanced techniques like AI and machine learning to help detect and root out cheaters. We want to make sure we bring some of that same technology to our own Strava segment leaderboards. We want to make sure you all know we value the competition in it and we preserve its integrity. Now, some of you may say, hey, some of those entries really don't need advanced techniques to figure out if they're wrong. But where AI and ML can really help are those more nuanced cases. It'll help us detect if an activity got misclassified, or help validate that QOM or KOM. Because remember, what's normal for some is an Olympic pace for another person.
Don't I know it? I'm not usually the fastest person in the room. I want to take a beat and talk a bit more about artificial intelligence. Mike was talking about it, and Matt just shared some work that we're doing and how we're using AI to clean up our leaderboards. Right now, we are in a hype cycle around artificial intelligence. Everybody is rushing to introduce some sort of chatbot into their product because they believe it checks off some magical box that they're using emerging tech. And Matt and I know that leveraging AI for vanity's sake is a fool's errand. AI can unlock really big things, but sometimes the magic can be used to solve real human problems. We've been using AI already for our weekly or night heat maps, or to generate quality routes on the fly when you drop a pin. We want to use AI to solve real customer problems, not because it's a novelty. So today, we want to introduce all of you to your new workout buddy. And sadly, it's not Mike's dog.
Well, introducing Athlete Intelligence. Athlete Intelligence is your companion that helps analyze and summarize all of your activities. Its purpose is to give you the insights to help you make the right improvements to help you reach your goals. So, how does it work? After every run or ride, Athlete Intelligence will summarize every stat you recorded along the way. It's going to make it easier for you to interpret the data of what happened so you don't have to do it alone. Internally at Strava, we've been testing this feature for a few weeks now, and while it's still early days, let me tell you, it's like awesome to have basically a sports scientist right in your pocket.
I've been using this beta for a couple weeks now, and the insights get better and better every week, and it's actually helping keep me motivated to keep getting out there and work out. So that's just a fraction of what the teams are working on right now, and we hope you enjoyed kind of walking through the halls of product to see what we've been doing. We are super impressed by what the teams have already accomplished, and we are even more excited for what's yet to come. But before we let you go, I'm going to ask you all to stay for a couple of more minutes. We have one more surprise for you. And to all the employees who are watching on the live stream, we just want to give you all a million kudos for all your hard work in this next thing that we're going to share. You all rocked it. So, campers, this one is really for you. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Mike Martin, CEO at Strava, and I'm here because our social media manager told me about some of your comments. For example, this comment from Steph on X. Can someone tell the idiot running Strava that dark mode is all we actually want? Heard, Steph. And from Noah, over on TikTok. For a company focused on helping people get fast, why are they so f***ing slow when it comes to dark mode? And here's one from Lucy on Reddit. Divert the damn staffing, Strava. Divert it. For the love of my eyeballs at night, please. Thank you for all of your feedback. I'm excited to let you know, especially you, Lucy, that we did in fact divert the entire staff. And as a result of that, dark mode is coming this summer, finally.
Thank you. Thank you. My team taped that clip and then refused to show it to me until this moment. I couldn't feel any more awkward than I do at this moment. But however, getting back to the role, and also as a longtime user of the platform, finally. Dark mode has been a long-awaited and massively requested feature. To make it happen, it required updating hundreds of screens, thousands of UX controls, and hundreds of complex map components. Now, I know it seems like it should be an easy thing to do, and candidly, if the Strava apps had been built in the last couple years, it would have been pretty easy. But they've been out there for a long time. And delivering dark mode was nothing easy. Actually, what it required, like I'm from San Francisco, it's like you bought one of those 150-year-old houses, one of those Victorians, and you had to seismically retrofit it, add entirely new electrical systems, replumb the whole thing. Like it basically required rebuilding everything. And why that is amazing is not just because of dark mode. Actually, dark mode's great, but why it's amazing is for two things. It means we have just updated every single screen and control in the app, so every subsequent improvement, every new feature will now happen even faster. But the other reason that it's so awesome is it shows you what Strava can do now. Strava has wanted to do this for several years. It's not that they hadn't heard that this was required, it's just that it was too much to do. But this is the new Strava, this is the new approach, this is the acceleration I was talking to you about, and this is proof positive that it's happening. I am so grateful to Zipporah and Anita and Matt for showing everyone the awesome work of the team. Clearly, Strava is accelerating, and as I said, what you see is just the beginning. But what matters most is what we do together, how we make progress together. I want to share a round of applause for all of the team who did the work, and then all of those behind the scenes making all of this Camp Strava magic. So thank you.